But here, on the very rim of known space, justice is a long way away.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie Podcast. I am your co-host, Brian. I'm a little fuzzy today. I feel like it's been a few weeks. And joining me, as always, is your co-host, Spaz.
Oh, here is your award. It's a trophy, in the literal sense.
What is that from? I don't know that one.
No, I just doing a bit.
Okay. Your co-host, Julie.
Hello from the great wet north.
Oh, it's wet here too. Yeah, we need it, but my God. Also joining us is your co-host, Thorsten, finally on the mend.
Very, hearable.
You know,
my voice is still.
We're just glad that you're here.
Yeah, we're glad that you're here and you're well enough to join us. My God. And
Thank you.
also joining us is your co-host, Jacob.
All right, who's not dead? Sound off.
Oh my God. And finally, your co-host, David.
Looks like I found Jane Waste Nebula. I got a cup of coffee here.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay, coffee.
Delightful.
Happy New Year, everyone. If we haven't said to you before, it is now 2023 as we record this on January 4th. 2022 was a heck of a year, gaming-wise. A lot of things happened in 2022, but we're going to talk about games. We have several categories to go through today in terms of our gaming year.
Only about 40% of the co-hosts are actively dying, so we're going to be fine.
Yeah, we're going to be okay. Happy New Year, Ferd. Happy New Year, Galen. So yeah, now we're loosey-goosey with these. Basically, the game didn't have to come out in 2022, or it doesn't have to be, it didn't have to be released or whatever. It's just when you think back to 2020,
we had to play it a lot in 2022.
When you think about
if someone breaks out like Master of Orion 2, that's why.
Yeah, like if you think about 2022, 22. God damn it. Yeah, we're still in 2020.
Yeah, we're still in March 2020.
We are almost out of March 2020.
Oh, God.
Jesus. Almost. It's almost over.
Is it though? Will it ever be over? I don't know. It's Groundhog.
It's Schrodinger's year.
It's Groundhog Month. Groundhog Month.
What does over even look like?
I don't know. I don't.
Good question.
I don't. I mean, who knows when they're going to declare an end to this pandemic? I don't know. It's going to be years and years. Considering how many... Anyway, we're here to talk about games. We can talk about pandemic stuff all year
slightly
long.
more positive than...
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. No, it's fine. So we have several categories, and we're going to start with our most surprising game of the year. Now, for me, it was an easy winner for me. For me, it was Star Math Interstellar Rogue 2.
That one.
Yeah, because...
Good.
Because Interstellar Rogue 1 was a great game. It was more of a top-down, rogue-like shootery thing, which was great. It's a great game. But when I saw that the second one was going to be a math-based kind of match puzzle thing, I was like, what's happening here? But I was so taken aback by how good and fun and unique this game is. The only thing this game... Oh, thank you, David. The only thing this game is missing is cloud saves, because I would love to be able to play, developer, if you're listening, I would love to be able to play a game on my PC and then resume that same campaign on my laptop. But for some reason, that's not enabled. I don't know why. But that's the only downside to it for me. It's such a good game, y'all. And it's so refreshing and different and unique. And I was shocked at how good it was. I was like, what is this going in? And I'm not good at math, and I don't really like math very much. And this was just stupendous. So that was my entry for most surprising game of the year. Spaz, what about you?
Well, for mine, I have to give it to Symphony of War, the Nephilim Saga.
Huh.
Whoa, interesting choice.
Now, what? Now,
yeah,
well,
this
elaborate.
this one, yeah. So this one takes inspiration from a lot of strategy games, like the Ogre Battle series, Tactics Ogre, Fire Emblem, where you have not just an army that you control, but each of your squads has multiple units within it. And because of that, you can tweak how you upgrade those units and how you build out each squad. So you can get some very, very nasty synergies together. Or say line your front line with guns and cannon if you really want to.
You can give
Or-
everyone guns if you try hard enough.
If you try hard enough, yeah, or you can use archers, put them up on a hill, and they get extra range, and pepper the enemy with arrows. You have lots of possibilities here, but this is the game deserves the ratings that it gets. It's overwhelmingly positive, 95% positive as of this moment, and it deserves what it gets. I was going into expecting it was going to be a fun game, but no. I spent 93 hours on the game, and about a third of that was just tweaking my army. Because you can upgrade units, move them around between squads, and really, really get down in the weeds on that. And it's great because of that.
so it makes the armies feel really like yours, like your individual creations.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's terrific, because when a game gives you that much agency, you just feel that much more connected to it. So that totally makes sense.
Well, what's also, in addition to that, is that those units that are not named plot armor related units, they can die. If they die and you don't resurrect them by the end of the battle, they're gone for good. So they're technically expendable. You might lose some units, but if you keep them alive and if they die, you resurrect them before the end of the battle, you get to keep them. And if you keep building them up, they can be very, very powerful.
That's awesome.
I have it
Yeah.
on my backlog. I need to play it.
Yeah,
So good.
I will play it
So good.
someday. I've got so much to play. Is that what you wanted to say about that one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Julie, what about you? What would you say is your most surprising game of 2022?
Link it. Right there. There we go. I think it's pronounced Ixion.
Ixion.
Yeah.
And it's like, I played it, and now granted, it's like a friend of mine said, "Did you watch the YouTube video?" And I went out and I watched and read some guides, and I played it, and I said, "Wow, I don't suck at this." And so I thought it would be, one of these dull, dry, it's just another builder. And I said, hey, I really like the story too. And granted, it's not Ingmar Bergman or something, but I really like the story behind it. And maybe that's because I can identify with the bureaucracy part. And maybe that's what makes me good at it, because it's like, wow, 30 years as a project manager. So it's like, wow, right up my alley. It's project managing. And I have been having a lot of fun with it. And that is my surprising game of the year. Surprise, you don't suck.
Nice. I do mean
That
to play
is
that
an acceptable surprise to have.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who say that one's really hard, but I'm really glad that you found it approachable.
Well, like I said, maybe it's because I what the game is, I do for a living, so only on a slightly smaller scale. But
all right, Thorsten, what about you? What is your most surprising game of 2022?
That would be Flight of Nova. That's basically a flight simulator in atmosphere and space on a fictional planet, and it has pretty interesting physics. Thank you, David, for posing it. And that was a real surprise for me because I didn't expect such a game coming out this year. And I really like it. It has a lot of the stuff that I want. Let's put it that way. That I want from a modern game, and that would be my pick.
Yeah, that's really looking to shaping up like a Spaceborne Euro Truck Sim type game in a lot of ways. Which
in a lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah, which a lot of people want, and I've played a little of it as well, and I'm terrible at it, but I want to get better. It is kind of unforgiving, but I like that.
I'm terrible at it either.
I appreciate that it's unforgiving. I appreciate that it does not mess around. So I do appreciate that. Is a great one. That's a really good choice. Jacob, what about you?
Well, if we go for surprises from this year, it's kind of hard to say. I think I would still go for the Steam release of Guild Wars 2 because it's the one game that I didn't expect A to come out on Steam and B for me to actually enjoy.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't think any of us expected it to come out on Steam like ever. So yeah,
yeah. Considering it's been going steady for 10 years straight on its own client, it was serviceable and it was fun. But now I actually got into it. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. I don't really have that much to say on it because I'm pretty sure A, I've talked about it. I've talked about it beforehand, and B, it's an entire MMO with 10 years of history. I do not feel like covering all of it.
It's very good, folks, and it's easy to get into. Like, it's a little different than other MMOs, which give you like just a list of quests and things to do. It's a little different than that, but once you start getting into it, it's very good. It's got great stories, really an amazing world. Like, the world building they've done is very impressive, and it's a lovely world to run around in, even solo. That's one reason I like it. Yeah, it's terrific. Can't recommend that one enough. David, why don't you wrap this category up?
All right. So I have written the script here, but I think I'm not going to read off the script here.
No.
So Loose and Goose, since that seems to be a theme. And that is going to be Vampire Survivors.
Oh, yeah.
I really bounced off of this game after, maybe 2 rounds or stuff like that. I was like, what the hell is this thing? I didn't understand. I was completely dumbfounded when I played the game. What am I missing? And then I watched some people play it on YouTube, Twitch, everywhere I saw this game. Incredible to see, $3.99 or something like that. This little crappy game, let's just say that, this little crappy thing appeared everywhere on the web. And I still didn't get it until, maybe December or something like that, when I finally went back to it. Okay, let's give it another shot. And that was after I played Void Scrappers, because I tried out at least another one of these bullet heaven things, which Spaz reminded me of. Interesting game, by the way. And by going back to Vampire Survivors, I also did some research, looking up on how the game was made and stuff. Vampire Survivors may not be the first. Spaz pointed to a game from the 80s, which seems to be very similar. And 2021, we had actually one game on iOS called Magic Survival, which may be the predecessor to this. But it seems like Vampire Survivors really realized that idea. And
I think charging $3 for the game was a real coup on their part. That was, I think that was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And right now we're seeing a whole new era of these so-called Doom clones, as everyone are trying to make their own Vampire Survivors killer. It's amazing to see a whole new genre being born like this, and everyone wants to get in on the action. It's an exciting time.
It really
is interesting that it has the innovative gameplay formula of playing the video game less. But I guess we already had idle clickers. We're past that point already. So I guess this is the middle point. You play some of the video game?
It is fascinating to watch a game create its own subgenre. Like FTL, you could say, created its own genre of roguelikes. The sector-based roguelike, basically. And it's just amazing to see things like that evolve and flourish. So that's a great pick, David. Yeah, I'm terrible at Vampire Survivors, but wow, that is a good one. And
It's
again,
really good. Yeah.
And again, folks, if you haven't played it, it's $3 I mean,
Well, 4.
4? Okay, it's 4. It's $4.
Yeah, it went up after it went left early access.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. So it's $4.
Compare the expenses.
And my God, it is for $4. You can get hours and hours out of that thing.
Yeah. So to the developer, I can only say, yeah, give
Well
me
done.
more. I
Well
want
done.
more.
I was actually chatting with Nookroom about this just this morning, in fact, or last night, and we both agreed that one of the reasons why it took off is because of the fact that it released at the time it did. That January, February time is when not a lot of releases come out, and streamers are looking for something new to show off. And at the time it came out, yeah, it hit at that just perfect timing, and with the low price and all of that.
Didn't it drop before Elden Ring? I think it did.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a
Early
lull.
access wise, yes.
Because everyone was waiting for Elden Ring. Everyone was waiting for Elden Ring. And then this little $4 or $3 at the time game comes out, and everyone's like, what is this? Yeah, it like made its own zeitgeist. It really did. All right, so folks,
you know, I just want to give a shout out to others of the same genre that are trying to make their place in the world as well. Void Scrappers, as I noted, Gunlocked, Arrival Zero Earth, and Rogue Genesia. Check these out.
Oh yes.
all right, so now, folks, we're going to get into the part of the hopefully the only negative part of the show, because we talked about surprising. Now we got to talk about disappointing. I mean, 2022 was a great year for games, but of course there's got to always be a disappointment. For me, the biggest disappointment of the year, I got to give it to Distant Worlds 2. Because I know they've patched it since I played it. I know they've been trying to fix it, but when I saw those near empty freighters wasting all of my fuel, it broke me. If anyone remembers watching the stream, I think I spent 10 minutes just yelling at the game and the camera.
Right.
Yep. I was so mad. I was like, I can't play this anymore. I was planning on streaming it for like 2 weeks. You know, I was so excited because I love Distant Worlds, and I was so excited. And then I saw this one thing that just broke the entire economy for me.
Weirdly enough, I feel like Distant Worlds 2 isn't necessarily worse than the first game, but also doesn't feel like that much of an upgrade.
I think the thing is, I think what someone told me is that problem that broke me existed in the first game. It just was buried a little more deeply. Like with the new UI and everything, it was easier to see this problem. And so once I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I'm done. I keep meaning to go back to it, but I just haven't. I just don't want to be disappointed again. So I have it installed, and I stare at it sometimes. I'm like, I don't know if I can go back to you right now. Yeah, it's
something they might fix in time.
I hope they do.
Yeah,
they probably will. The first Distant World. Yeah, Twitch Rant of the Year World. Yeah, you were there, Fernando. Oh my God. They will probably release expansions for it like they did the first one, and they kept patching that one. And eventually it turned into something awesome. Eventually. So I have every hope that this one will get the love it deserves, because I think there's a great game in there somewhere, but maybe it's great now. After all, it's got some serious, huge patches since I played it, but I just haven't been able to bring myself to return to it. So that is my pick for most. I'm sorry, Matrix. I love you guys, but damn, you let me down with that one. Spaz, do you have one?
Oh yeah, one I was really looking forward to, and bought it on right after released, literally right after released, minutes after, and it turned out to be a buggy mess, and hopefully they'll improve it. I've still got it installed just in case they do, but it is aircraft carrier survival.
Okay, you're about to
Oh wow!
okay, elaborate, because I did not expect that one. I've played it. I know it's jank, but
It's jank, yes. There are a lot of things that I just noticed on release, especially where there was a bug that I hit where one of your squadrons could land, and then you wouldn't be able to move it from where it actually landed at and stop in front of the aircraft.
I remember you talking about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you have to do is you have to manage the squadrons when they land. They land at the back of the aircraft carrier. They stop at the front of the aircraft carrier, and then you have to give them orders to move to the back so that they can go back down into the elevators, and you can let another squadron land or take off. They would get stuck at the front, which meant you could do neither. And it would soft lock the game because you can't do anything about it. And at that point, 6 hours in, I stopped. I want it to be.
Oh,
good.
wow.
I really did.
It took you 6 hours to get to that point. Oh.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Now, hopefully they'll fix it, and maybe that bug has been fixed since I played. But yeah, right now they just posted last week about a future content update and where they're going with things. So there's hope that they will fix it, and maybe it won't be disappointing by the next time I play it.
I hope not either. Julie, what about you? You got one that disappointed you?
Yes, I do. And it's even one that won an award, and I will link it. I'll try anyway. There we go. Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, no.
That's my game that disappointed me.
oh, that's going to be a spicy one.
Oh, I'm
Rev
looking
up the
forward to
drums.
this. I'm looking forward to this.
Now,
Rev up the grill.
ironically, it's not for a lot of the reasons that everybody else did, because thank you. I for some reason I couldn't link it in the Steam store. I know a lot of people had a lot of qualms about it for a lot of different reasons, but mine mostly was the story, and I was disappointed in where it was going, and obviously I can't say what I was disappointed about, because that'll be a giant spoiler for the game. I bought it on the strength of who one of the main characters was, and that's the Keanu Reeves character. And all I can say is that as far as that is concerned, I will just say, well, I looked at the Keanu Reeves character and I said, I guess you got a problem, and I'm not going to solve it for you. As far as, and I researched how
You know what? I will give you that. I love Keanu Reeves. I will ride or die for Keanu Reeves. His character was really unlikable. Really, really, really unlikable. And
I mean, the actor himself, here's a good example of what I've seen, the kind of guy he is. He's got this classic motorcycle parked in the street where he's working on the latest Matrix movie, right? And this woman who is a typical Karen backs into it. The anybody else would have just flipped out. Keanu Reeves walks up to her, smiles, says, "How do you do?" Said, "If it still starts, we're good." He starts, he said, "Have a nice day." All the reporters are trying to goad him into being mad. And he just said, "It starts, have a nice day, bye," rides off into it. And so I bought it because I really like Keanu Reeves. Now, I do wish my one qualm about the city is I kind of wish it looked more like a game, a city that was like really populated to me. It looked more like a real city, and I've seen that been done in other games. That's a little done better, and so that was the only thing that was a little disappointing. But now, granted, as far as some of the other complaints everybody's have, I have been faulted by some of my friends for this. Let's say, well, I didn't see this game. It's like some of the Mass Effect things. I said, I didn't see it. I said, that's because you waited for all the problems to be solved. So that's what I usually do is I'll watch videos and I'll watch things and say, okay, have they been solved now? Okay, now I'll play the game. But I kind of wish I knew where the story was going ahead of time because I might like the actor, but not the character. And it's like, it ain't your problem just because you blew your life down the toilet doesn't mean I'm going to help you out. So see ya, not my problem. Bye. And I worked toward a particular ending, and then I said, okay, I'm done. I uninstalled it.
That's
it's weird because
I can't disagree.
While I don't disagree with you, I can see your viewpoint in getting to that point. There are some side quests which humanize that character a lot more. Your relationship with him evolves.
But the thing is, you really got to get in deep to get there. And
correct. That's the other thing is you do have to work to make that happen. But it does depend on what ending you're shooting for because there are multiple endings, and some of them are harder to reach than others.
Yeah, that's why my favorite one was the most difficult ending. And basically somebody can say, well, I will liken it to this. Somebody can say, well, you got 6 months to live. Well, I am not going to spend that last 6 months working for the most dreaded person. It would be like saying, you got 6 months to live, so you may as well help out Adolf Hitler. No, thank you. I'm going to spend them with somebody I really like.
No, I totally get it. I mean, if you find Keanu's character like a cheese grater on your skull, yeah, you're not going to want to spend more time getting your head cheese grated. So I get that. I totally get that. I was able to find enough love in the game to deal with him to get to the point where he actually started to become like humanized, but. Yeah,
I just ignored him.
It takes,
I ignored him. I ignored the main story. I did what I do in open world games all the time. I maxed out all the side quests, get the best gear and equipment.
There was a lot of great side quests in that game too. A lot of great.
And tell Keanu to fuck off.
It didn't help that they offed one of my favorite characters at the beginning of the game.
Oh, that was hard.
I said, I took a big break from it, and I said, you bastards. Kiss my big behind, and I logged off. And I said, "That's it. I'm done." I
was so legit mad when they did that. I knew it was coming. As soon as he's like, "Oh, I'm talking to my mom," I'm like, "Oh God, that's it. You're gonna die." I knew. They totally set it up.
I was totally blindsided by it, and I didn't know he was my favorite character.
Oh, no.
And I said, to me, it was like. Okay, I'm watching Deep Space Nine, and then you took Commander. Then you took Cisco away from me. I said, "Have you lost your mind?"
Well, there's a very important point here for the setting it's in, and that is that you don't have happy endings in Night City. You either do what you can to get out, or the city consumes you. So if you go in there thinking, "Oh, I'm the protagonist, therefore I can have the happiest ending," no, that's not how the city works. That's not how the setting works. It's dystopian. It's meant to tear you apart. In a lot of ways.
Going in, I didn't know this, and if I see this. And I know there's a game that's like this ahead of time. For example, there's a game out here, and it's a little Switch game, and I think it's called Wayfarer or something like that. And you're supposed to guiding souls. And I said I lost one of my friends to death this during the height of the pandemic when there was no vaccine. I said, I just can't play this game as much as I want to. So no, if I know that going in, I won't play it no matter how much. If I know I'm going to, I was really looking forward to No Man's Sky on the Switch, and they said, but you'll be alone in the universe. And I said, sorry.
I'm the complete opposite.
There are technical reasons why they can't handle multiplayer on it.
No, I understand that, but
I'm completely the opposite on the Switch. I'm like, it's only me. Oh, perfect. Gimme.
This is the one game No Man's Sky is the one game I would buy in a cloud version if it meant I wouldn't be alone in the universe.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Oh, well, I could totally, coming from the perspective you laid out, I could totally see why Cyberpunk would be disappointing. I can totally see that. I loved it. I actually finished it, which is surprising. I never finish things, but it got me. It got me, but I could totally see how it could push some others away. I could totally see that. So I get that one. Thorsten, what about you, buddy?
Well, I've got not a real candidate. To be honest, this year, which really disappointed me to a point that I would say no, or that I just have to talk about it. What disappoints me a lot is that are some games that I really wanted for 2022 are still in early access. Or these developers don't even communicate about why there is a delay, or you have to wait half a year to hear about it, and that's pretty disappointing. I mean, I understand that game development is quite difficult, but please tell us what's happening. That's the only thing I want, No,
that's totally fair.
Do you mean like games that will be in early access that they go silent for 6 months or more, and then they suddenly go to 1.0?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, how long do we wait for Into Black now? It's quite some time, and every time I've heard something, I hear something from the devs. There's a change of the game, and that's a bit annoying.
Oh yeah, but I feel like we're about to say it. I feel like we're about to say the words here.
Go ahead.
If we're talking about games that never come out.
Oh no!
Well, we don't even have to go to the bingo there. We don't even have to go to the bingo there. There are games that can take a long time in early access and still be communicative about their process.
Yeah,
and
like
Star Sector.
Star Sector, exactly. Star Sector, like
Star Sector,
exactly. That's Pulsar. Yes, I mean, you have good examples of developers that are like, "Hey, we're still working on this," and like, but they're regularly communicative. But then you have developers that go radio silent, and then nothing happens. And then you're like, what the hell happened to this game? I get it. Yeah, that is more of a widespread disappointment rather than any one game. I get that, man.
Right.
I feel that in my bones. I feel that in my bones. Absolutely. Permanent early access games, as Fernando calls them. That's a very good way to put it.
Again, they can be in there for a long time, but as long as they're getting steady development and they're being communicative about their process, I don't hold that against them.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of developers
will take 7 years in early access, literally.
Right, but some developers fail in the communication process, and that's the real frustrating part. Like, at least let us know how it's going. Like, oh, I'm just burnt out. I need a month to myself. That's fine. Do what you got to do for your mental health. And work on the game when you feel right. That's fine. Just tell us. That's what you're going to do.
The message here in general is be better with communication. That's just generally good life advice.
It's tough. I myself have failed at this. I'm supposed to be updating the Starfleet 2 thing on Steam fairly regularly. I hadn't updated it in a few months because we all got busy in the holidays and blah, blah. So I finally updated it yesterday. But yeah, I mean, it's tough sometimes. You forget, you get round up in life. You know, I'm not defending these people, but like good communication is tough. And admitting you're behind and stuff can be also tough. But yeah, I totally also get the disappointment as a fan. I totally get that. All right, Jacob, what do you got?
Well, I don't have that much in the way of disappointment. I don't really have a game that I expected to be good and turned out terrible. I do have a game that I expected to be good and turned out okay, and that is Dark Tide. I've mentioned about it already. I do still like playing it. I do enjoy it every now and then. I do appreciate that it's not that it's at $40, not $60, but it is underwhelming. It is definitely feels like a step back compared to the Vermintide series. It feels dramatically like a lot of lessons learned from those games were just not applied here.
Oh God!
It also feels like the game kind of lacked focus and had a lot of priorities that were more or less out of whack. They put in the cash shop, they made it work perfectly, but a lot of stuff like the achievements were confusing. A lot of systems just didn't work as intended. Even within the cash shop, there were some issues. There were issues with like the rotating content. There's the FOMO thing that they tried to implement and failed. It's
FOMO
okay.
thing? FOMO thing?
Yes, they do a thing where they like rotate items in and out over time. Like they put it on a cycle, like on a 3-day cycle. You have like 5 sets of items on a 3-day cycle, and you can only buy 3 of them at a time, and they sort of go on a sliding line for the first 3 days. Didn't work for the first week or so.
Oh God!
Which
that's a big thing. You got to get working. It's a big deal.
Yes, but they've wrangled it into usefulness now. But there's still a lot of things. I enjoy it for the core gameplay loop of being a competent horde shooter set in the 40K setting with great audio visual design. But there was definitely, I had reason to expect better, because I did not think the game would end up worse than Vermintide 2, because how would they make it worse? But they managed it.
Wow.
Normally it takes a lot of effort for a game to disappoint me, because my expectations are usually very low for games.
No.
But they managed it.
Wow, that's sad, because I was excited about that one, but I held off because as much as I love Warhammer games, they can be wildly inconsistent, and the Vermintide series never really appealed to me. So I'm glad I held off on that one, because you and other people I've talked to about that one are like, yeah, just don't. Okay.
If you didn't like Vermintide, why would you like Dark Tide?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. David, what do you got
to still the same genre.
Yeah.
Like,
David, what do you got?
Okay. So once again, I'm trying to read off a script here, but I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. So for starters, I could not play this game on my computer. It's too underpowered to play this. It had incredibly bad optimization at launch also, so even people who had working computers couldn't quite play it. And come on. That's Callisto Protocol. I was really expecting this game to be a hit, and personally, I was more hyped for the Dead Space remake all the time. Especially when I read up that Callisto Protocol, for some reason, was going to be connected to the Battleground PUBG universe. What is this?
Wait, what?
Yes. Originally, Callisto Protocol was supposed to be connected to PUBG, to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
What?
They cut that off because someone may have realized, oh, this is stupid.
That's dumb, yes.
Yeah.
Like, PUBG barely had a setting in the first place. There was an armor mod with aspirations.
Exactly. So when I read about that, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to Dead Space rather than this. But I still kept an eye on this game, and was still hoping for Glenn Schofield and his team to make a banger, because Dead Space was great. Dead Space 2 was even more awesome. Dead Space 3, let's not talk about that one. So they're There's no exploration. It's incredibly linear. There's not even a new game plus. What happened? What happened with this game? So I'm really disappointed in what I'm seeing and what I'm reading up on Callisto Protocol, especially as they have death animations as part of their season pass, and I'm not making that up.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's true.
Wait,
It's
you have
incredible.
to buy death animations?
Yes.
No,
Yep.
Well, those are part of the season passes, and you get the season pass. You get death animations that are unique to the season pass.
Which is
Oh,
baffling.
oh,
You have to pay to see some new game over screens.
oh.
What about that?
So
So
in a
once
Dead
again,
Space game?
no, you didn't do that in a Dead Space game in Callisto Protocol.
And Callisto Protocol.
Come on, team. Who's in charge of this game, you can do better than this. I know you can.
That's like playing Mortal Kombat and you have to put in an extra quarter for the finish him
Exactly.
graphic. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
I'm really disappointed in reading up on this.
Callisto Protocol is my example of why I now watch reviews and playthroughs first, because I was really hyped for this game, and then when I watched all the reviews, it was always, it sucks and here's why.
And another thing that I was really interested in looking up about Callisto Protocol was that reports said before the release that probably 75% of the game was going to be melee viable. And that sounds like a good time, because in Dead Space, it's a feat when it can defeat a necromorph with hand-to-hand combat. But holy crap, what happened with the combat system in Callisto Protocol? What was this thing? So I can take that as an example. When many games you have some kind of dodge button. In Inquisitor, Brian, you have a dodge button for the assassin, right?
Right.
Yeah. You push that button and your character rolls to the side. Amazing, right? You know how you dodge in Callisto Protocol?
You have to buy the season pass?
No, you move to the right and then you automatically dodge the attack.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, there's not
Oh.
even a button for it. You
you
move
can
to the
just
right.
circle strafe things to death like it's freaking Serious Sam.
Yes.
Oh. I mean,
And it looks incredibly underwhelming. So
in Serious Sam, it works because that's the whole vibe of the game. So that's fine in Serious Sam. But in this, it kind of it sounds really disappointing.
So once again, to the developers, please, you can do better than this. I know you can.
So in a way, you should be relieved you didn't get to play it.
I guess, maybe. I
maybe
still want to play it, though. That's
well,
for sure.
maybe when you get a new PC, maybe they'll have patched in the good stuff by then. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so friends, we're the Space Game Junkie podcast, so we have to talk about space games at least once. So we have a category of our space game of the year, and I couldn't pick one. I couldn't decide between two.
Really?
I couldn't decide between two that I love so much, so I couldn't pick just one. So my pick is a tie between Starfleet 2 and Taxinaut. I obviously love Starfleet 2. But I love Taxinaut. I had to force myself to stop playing Taxinaut because it's early access and I don't want to burn out on a game before it hits 1.0. So I had to literally force myself to stop playing it. It's so fucking good. It is so fucking good. So yeah, I couldn't decide between those two. So I'm just like, F it. It's going to be a tie between Starfleet 2, one of the greatest space games ever, and Taxinaut, an amazing, amazing open world space taxi game that I just love so much. Yeah, so it's a tie because I couldn't decide. Spaz, what about you?
Well, my pick is a little unorthodox, but it's one that I've mentioned quite a few times before. And it is a game that did release in 2022. For the Warp.
Oh.
Not to be confused with This Means Warp, which is completely different.
Completely different, but also good. For the Warp, it is a deck building game. You've got one of several spaceships that you can unlock and then play through, trying to get your. It's FTL like in that you have a similar vibe. You're trying to get your ship from one end of the galaxy to the other, and you're going through zone to zone. But there's a major deck building element along with that. So,
and what's amazing, if I may jump in, what's amazing is I'm not really into deck builder games, but the deck building in that game is so well done. It's efficient. It's streamlined. It's clear. You know, even for someone like me who isn't really into deck building games, I got it. You know, like that.
It helped that I was able to talk you through some of the stuff on screen.
That did help, yes. But I mean, even on its own, it's. I think it's an achievement in the game's design that it's so approachable even for people like me who aren't into deck builders. I think.
Yeah, and it's the pixel art. The pixel art is really, really good. The ships just look. They're so detailed, despite the art style. You wouldn't necessarily think it because you might look at the screenshots and think, "Well, that's just pixel art." But
oh no, they look great. No, they're so detailed, especially for pixel art. They look fantastic. Yeah, that's a great pick.
And that's past. Well, I didn't buy the game. I did buy the soundtrack because that's a banger. Yeah, it's an amazing soundtrack.
Such a good soundtrack. So good.
I should mention For the Warp is still 50% off as we are live right now. So
worth it.
$7.49 USD.
A steal at that price.
Snag it.
A steal at that price. Absolutely. Great pick. Excellent pick. Yeah, I was really impressed by that one. I remember playing it and going, wow, this is good. And again, deck building games usually don't appeal to me, but that was a great one. Probably one of the best ones I've played, actually. Julie, what about you? You got a space game for 2022?
I do, and I didn't even have to think about it. And I haven't played an isometric game since the first online game I ever played, which was Ultima Online. And this game, and I will link it here, I only played because, and no, I'm not brown-nosing here, only played because of the generosity of this really great guy that we all know, and I can't get enough of it. There it is.
Wow.
Cannot get enough. Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor. I never thought I would like another isometric game, but it's like...
It's technically in space.
Yeah, works enough.
It is. And it's one of these things, yes, it is in space because a lot of the time you're on a spaceship, and it's one of these things where you said, okay, step back from the computer. It's 2 a.m. You have to work at 8 a.m. And even though you're just going to another level of the house, step away from the computer. And this is where I learned, if you want to know what time it is, just stay up till 2 a.m. playing games. It's 2 a.m. Go to bed. Yes. Thank you. And all is well. And God bless her. My sister always looks out for my health better than I do. So that is my space game of the year. And yes, it takes place on spaceships. It counts.
That's fair enough. You know what? It does take place. You have a spaceship, technically, and it takes place on space stations and spaceships. So yeah, sure. I will totally allow that. Of course, I'm also very biased. So I will totally allow that one.
Thank you so much for the gift.
Oh, it's so good, right? Anyway, Thorsten, do you got a space game for 2022?
Oh, yes. And rather two. But one is a bit better than the other, in my opinion, and that is Taxinaut.
Yes.
When I started up this game first, I thought, what is this? then I tried it a second time and couldn't stop playing. It's for me, that's a really, really easy pick. I really don't know how Mostrom did it, but I'm just blown away by this one. Really,
It's so good. It's so good.
so great. And
He's in the chat too.
yeah, I see it. And my other pick would be Hard Space Shipbreaker.
Oh yes. Excellent
I
pick.
just have to point out Taxinaut is a bit better because, in my opinion, a bit better because there's so much in this game. I can't even believe it. It's simply in that way. And as I said, my second pick is Hard Space Shipbreaker because it's simply an innovative. Oh my God, I can't get it now. Innovative game. The only thing I have against it is it feels a bit like work now after hundreds of hours in it. To be honest.
I got to that point a lot sooner than you did, but yeah, it started feeling a little stressful, work like, and I know what the game is trying to do, and I appreciate it, but yeah, it eventually got to that point for me too, but just a lot more quickly. It sounds like.
Yeah. So that would be my two picks.
Nice, Jacob. What about you? You got a space game for the year?
Well, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it before because in terms of space games I played the most this year, according to Steam, there is one, and that is Star Traders Frontiers. I believe everyone here should be familiar with it from the chat itself, not from the chat, from the within the podcast studio. It did come out a staggering 5 years ago at this point.
Oh, that's fine.
But it is an exceptional exceptional space RPG. Where it's basically what I hope the new Rogue Trader game that's coming out will end up being. It won't, but I can hope.
There's a preview of the Rogue Trader game that someone got to play for a few hours,
and
recently.
I have no idea how it went.
I got to read it, and I'm more excited about it than ever. Oh my God, I'm so excited about Rogue Trader.
I'll take your word for it. I'll stick with Frontiers for now until that comes out.
Totally
because
fair.
It is exceptional if you're like me and want exactly this. You want one big ship and pretty much anything you could do with it. It is exceptional in terms of setting. It's very much unique in terms of actual setting design and plot. It decided to resolve the open world RPG curse of having a story with no tension and no pacing because you can just go off to do whatever by having the story carry on without you if you decide to ignore it, which has upsides, which has ups and downsides. Downsides, of course, it is more stressful because you are on a timer, but the upside is if you don't like a part of a story, you can ignore it, carry on, do something else, and come back when it gets more interesting.
Yeah.
Also, the timers all considered are fairly lenient, so as long as you don't completely screw yourself over, you should be fine. Though, admittedly, the game has like 12 different difficulty levels, so in that way, it is immensely customizable in terms of difficulty. You get again like 12 different difficulty levels,
and it's also custom difficulty as well. You can.
And it has a custom difficulty if you're so inclined. Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Terrific.
It is an absolutely exceptional game, though it is a game that requires a lot of patience and I won't say a lot of learning, but at least a bit of research and figuring out what does what. Yeah. The game isn't necessarily obtuse, it just has a lot of stuff, and explaining all that stuff at once is very difficult. It does its best, but it can struggle a bit. Also, the developers are, I'm pretty sure, actual androids who are humanly incapable of sleeping.
I don't know.
Because they keep releasing updates for their everything very regularly, including this game.
There are over 200
Android games, which I've also played.
Oh, yeah,
and also the new games they're releasing on Kickstarter.
I think there are over 200 patches for this one, big and small.
Yep.
I think
at
this point.
It is
309.
300?
We are currently on update 300. We are currently on update 309.
Okay, I was wrong. Okay,
and
so
each of these is a significant update.
Yeah, they really they take feedback very seriously. They try and balance things but also try and keep it fun at the same time. It's just I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, and according to
it's a game that needs a wiki. It needs a wiki because there's so much information you can't memorize everything that you need to know. It has a good one.
It has a very competently written wiki that I have mostly no complaints about.
Yeah, agreed.
Besides maybe being kind of a nightmare to navigate, but that's wiki for you.
That's a wiki. Yeah, that's a wiki. Excellent choice. David, what about you?
Okay, so this game... well, I can go back to that as well, because Forza noted that. And originally, Hard Space Shipbreaker was going to be my pick, but as my computer is what it is, it too is crashing my computer, like my current pick. But Hard Space Shipbreaker, for me, it's more like a tech demo. It's a good tech demo, if anything. But I wish it was more realized. I wish there was more content to do and stuff. So first of all, I'm just going to check here. Testing. Do we have Arquebus X and Dix in stream? Hello?
I don't know. No. I don't know if I don't think he's here.
Okay, because my space game pick will be the expansion for X4.
Not what I expected.
This is something that's pretty damn cool, if I gotta say. Because when I originally saw, what is that? 2007 or something like that? Way back when GameSpot made a review on X3. I laughed at its cute writing about the aliens attacking the Argon and attack. Oh, yeah, it was so many funny names. Of course, everyone would laugh at that. But then mid 2010s, I finally tried out Albion Prelude, and then it clicked for me. And wow, yeah, I was hooked and expected X4 to be a hit. We got X Rebirth on the way, which was not a hit, but we got X4. Hey! And holy crap! To Bernd and the team, this is a cool game. If anything, you can do so much in this friggin' game, which is only more amplified with mods. Like you can be a lone starfighter, you can be a miner, be an industrialist building station across the stars. It's incredible. And now with this expansion, they added salvaging. Well, I haven't tried that function myself. I like what I'm reading about it. Because every resource needs to go around in the universe. And sooner or later, ships are going to get all blown up. And now we can recycle them. How cool is that? How cool isn't that? So everything just goes around again. So, very cool game. I wish I could play it more, but my computer is struggling with this game. Which makes me very mad.
It's an excellent choice, but you forgot something. You can play a space pirate.
Yes, that too.
And you can convince drones to destroy the galaxy, which I did.
Yes.
Wait, what?
You can convince drones to destroy the galaxy, and I said, my work here is done.
Respectable.
That's terrific. So friends,
that's my top game.
That's a good pick. So friends, we usually don't talk about graphics or anything and things like that, because graphics come and go with like whatever. How realistic in a game? But one thing we all seem to really care about is a soundtrack. I don't know about y'all, but I'm huge into soundtracks. I listen to them offline all the time when I'm working, when I'm driving. A good soundtrack, I think a good soundtrack for me is more memorable than how a game looks, you know. And so it was a tough choice because there was a lot of good soundtracks this year. There were so many good soundtracks this year, but I really had to go with Hard Space Shipbreaker. I think it was probably my favorite soundtrack that came out this year. And For the Warp was a very close. I really debated between the two, but the Hard Space Shipbreaker soundtrack really, really stuck with me. And I still I just have it on loop sometimes when I'm working. It is a great soundtrack to work to. It is really just one of those exceptional soundtracks that I'll probably be listening to it's still in a decade, you know. It's so good.
Mm,
What?
nothing. I was stretching.
Oh, okay. Spaz, do you have a soundtrack that you really loved? This last year?
Oh yeah, it's one that the game that I think we all liked, because the soundtrack is Christopher Tin, Old World.
Oh yes, an excellent choice. Excellent choice. Such a good. That is
No arguments. Arguments.
God, yeah, no arguments at all. That is a fantastic choice. Oh, so good. God, yeah. God, I might have to rethink my choice now because I kind of forgot about the Old World soundtrack, but now that I'm thinking of it, damn it.
4X game?
Yeah. The Old World is Old World is basically a mix of like, say, Civilization 2 and Crusader Kings, basically. But I think it's better than both of those games. And the soundtrack by Christopher Tin is, you know what? I'm changing my pick. I'm gonna change it to Old World 2 now that I'm thinking of it. Fuck it.
Okay,
It's my show. It's my show. I can do what I want. It's my show. I do what I want. Oh God, the soundtrack to Old World. You're right. Is oh God. Thank you for reminding me. There were so many.
It is hard to go wrong with Christopher Tin. I mean, really,
you really can't. You can't.
You cannot go wrong with
You
Christopher
really
Tin
can't.
and he makes.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Oh my God. Okay, thank you for reminding me of that one. I've changed my entry to also to be Old World. I don't think you can buy Old World through the soundtrack through the Steam store. Is it on Bandcamp? I can't remember. I think you can buy it somewhere. I just can't remember where right now. But I think there is a place you can buy the soundtrack separately. Maybe through his website. Oh God, I don't remember. I know you can buy the soundtrack separately. I just don't remember where right now. But yeah, that folks, that's an exceptional game and an exceptional soundtrack. Julie, do you got one?
I do indeed. And now, granted, I'm a little partial about this one because a friend of mine is the director.
Okay.
And it doesn't go for all of the music, but some of it, and I'll link it here. And the expansion came out this year. And now, granted, some of the places are like, but there's music tracks in this game. It's like I play it. It's like my friend just says, "Hey, didn't you want to come join me over this part of the game?" I said, "No, I want to stay here." Why? I like the music, and that is why. That is my pick. So it counts because the DLC came out this year, and the DLC I don't think added any music, but that's why I really enjoy the music, and that's why I'm the one that thought up this category, and that's why because of this, and that's it. Yes, and I know the director, toot my own horn, but it's not like, oh hey, we're gonna pick out curtains or something. But
is Conan Exiles playable solo at all? Because
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Depending on what you like to do, my big thing in games like this is building, but we have a static group on Sunday nights, and we can alternate between this and my other game of the year choice, which I doubt we'll get to. But this is, we all get together every now and then and play on a server, and there are dungeons you can run. There aren't quests, but there are achievements. And now there's like headhunting and witch hunting. But my big thing is I like to build and explore. And there's a lot of that solo. But, it's one of the few multiplayer games that I play. This and No Man's Sky that I play a lot solo. So you got to be able to entertain yourself. But
right. Okay.
Yes, there's still a lot of surprises, and I like this one.
Okay. Thorsten, do you have a favorite soundtrack?
I can make this short. It's goes both to the Old World soundtrack and the Hard Space Shipbreaker soundtrack. It's both are great. Both are great, and
that's funny.
That would be my two choices. Simply.
That's fair. That's fair. Save your voice. Jacob, you got a pick?
Hard to say, honestly. I feel like I'm actually tempted to give this one to Darktide.
Oh.
Mostly because I don't recall any games with great soundtrack that came out more recently. And of course, the pinnacle of video game soundtracks for me is still a combination of Metal Gear Rising and Ace Combat 7. But when it comes to more recent games, I think Darktide is actually going to take this. I did mention it had great visual and visual and audio side, and the soundtrack in this game is brilliant. I do not know what it is about Warhammer 40,000 to suddenly make composers just completely go off, creating the most insanely great things they can produce. We've seen this with Battlefleet Gothic Armada. We've seen this with Mechanicus. We've seen this with Darktide now, and we've seen this with Space Marine.
I think the setting demands it. It's such a bananas setting that I think it demands a bananas soundtrack.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Like, you can go completely nuts. You can have a freaking EDM song with pipe organs as the drop. Sure,
of course you can. It's Warhammer 40K. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Go nuts. That's the tagline here.
That's true.
So, yeah, it is absolutely brilliant for somehow managing to combine traditional pipe instruments with completely insane hard ass electronic music. I love it.
Awesome. David, you got a soundtrack?
Okay, it's a little bit trickier because multiple people and then mentioned that soundtrack multiple times now during this podcast session. So yeah, I'm not gonna relink it. Can we take something outside of gaming? Like if we heard an album outside of gaming? I don't know.
If it's related, is it related to a game?
No. Okay. Oh, that's bad track then. Yeah, it's gonna be Hard Spaceship Breaker. That was something very special.
I can't blame you on that one.
I don't know what you can call that kind of music. If it's country, Americana, or whatever.
Bluegrassy, kind of country, kind of folky.
Yeah, I did not grow up with this kind of music. Let's just say that. It's a little bit alien to me.
Yeah, I would lean more toward bluegrass, I think. If you had to put it in one, if you had to pigeonhole it into something, that's what I would pigeonhole it into.
I didn't.
It wouldn't be out of place in the Rebel Galaxy universe. To be honest.
Absolutely.
Isn't that true?
Absolutely.
That is so true.
But all in all, I didn't watch the Firefly series, but I did watch the Serenity movie back then. So I don't quite have the same connection as some people may have to the music present in.
You should watch Firefly. You should watch Firefly.
I know.
It's Joss Whedon problematic. Besides, it is a really good show.
So I heard.
Definitely worth watching.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we are now at our final category, our top game of the year. It doesn't have to be a space game or anything. It's the game we loved and played the most or loved the most or whatever. And for me, I think the choice is obvious. It's got to be Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr. Like, there are other games I played a lot this year, like Lord of the Rings Online and Cyberpunk, but this is the one I always come back to when either I need a break from another game or just when I run around feeling like a badass, lighting multiple people on fire and watching them go kersplat. It is so visceral and satisfying to play. And I don't know. Steam does that thing now, the replay, and it was my most played game of the year, which doesn't surprise me. Because it's just so good. And if you haven't gotten it yet, folks, it's on sale right now. The complete collection, well, almost complete, because they haven't added the new DLC that just dropped. So the almost complete collection is like $15, which, oh my God, such a steal. I'm approaching 300 hours in this game, which for me is a lot. Because I don't stick with a lot of games for very long. And it is just the game I go to almost every day now. It's just so, yeah, it's definitely my game of 2022. nothing even. I don't think anything else comes close. Maybe except Starfleet 2. Maybe. And I love Starfleet 2. Don't get me wrong, but for sheer relaxation and enjoyment, oh my god, Inquisitor for me. It just hits all these right notes for me that I just keep coming back to. So that is my game of 2022. Spaz, do you got one?
Yeah, I do, and it's one that I was actually discussing on Discord just a couple of days ago, and jumped back into because of the discussion we were having. And it is FTL with the multiverse mod.
Yes, of course.
Now,
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Oh boy.
Well, yeah, I mean, its base game is great, and the multiverse mod adds hundreds of ships that you can play,
and other ways to play too. It's not just the ships. Yeah. It adds it adds different starts. It adds different events. It adds new races, sub races, weapons, events. I've only played a couple hours with the mod, but holy crap! It's almost a whole new game with that mod, with that multiverse mod. It is.
Let me put it this way: I had about 140 to 150 hours in the base game before I discovered this mod. I now have 650 hours.
Damn, son!
Oh, wow.
I'm not surprised though. I'm not surprised. It's very easy.
There are literally hundreds of ships to unlock. You can do so much, and it's great.
It is great.
It's a game changer.
And it's easy to install. I was worried it was going to be hard to install. It is not. It is very easy to install. It's not like a workshop thing. You actually have to download an installer like it's 2007. But
but there's an exe for it now.
Yeah.
So
it's
you
very
can use
easy
that.
to install. It's very easy to install. It even gives itself a desktop shortcut, so you can just go right to it. And that's a great pick. And I think everyone here on the Discord has FTL now at this point. And if you don't, what the hell? I mean,
it's literally $2.50 if you are wanting to buy it on sale.
Yeah, it's $2 and it's it's $2.50, and it's definitely worth picking that one up if you haven't already. But I can't imagine if you're listening to this podcast you don't own FTL. I mean, my God,
the game made its own genre.
Yes, it did. It's been out for a decade, and it's been in numerous bundles. And
so great.
So you got to get it if you don't have it already. You have to. That's a great pick, Spaz. And the mod is very easy to install, very easy to use, and it just adds layer upon layer of awesome to an already awesome game.
Really does.
It really does. It makes it I've always found FTL stressful because of the chase thing, like the fleet chasing you and everything. It makes FTL not less challenging, but less stressful for me.
And one of the add-ons lets you disable the rebel fleet chasing you, so you can hit every node along the way if you really want to, as long as you have the fuel.
Exactly. If you want to just do kind of a relaxing exploration thing, you can do that now. It's great. That's kind of how I play it now. You just turn the fleet off and just, I want to check out every sector on the map. Instead of having to run away. So it is great. I think the mod will work with the GOG version as well. I'm not 100% on that. Oh, well. Okay.
It does.
I figured it would, but
you have to use the launcher within GOG to get it to a specific version. The reason why is because the mod wrapper is what it is not compatible with the newest version of FTL, but the only thing that added was 2 localizations, 2 languages, Japanese and one other. So you have to downgrade your version of FTL in order to be able to use the mod with it. But as long as you're not using those languages, you're okay.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, excellent pick. Julie, do you have a game that defined your 2022?
Yes, I have, and if I may, I have a runner-up here.
Okay.
Sure.
And that's because it was.
Oh.
It's ancient, but it's there because it is. You can play it on almost anything, including at this point a pregnancy tester, and more importantly, I can play it. It's on Switch, but most importantly, I like it because I can make the game literally do anything I want at this point because ZeniMax and Bethesda always provide everybody with all the tools to mod the game. But my actual game.
You gotta say the name because we're an audible medium.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is Elder Scrolls. Can't you see what I'm holding up? Elder Scrolls Skyrim. It
So
is.
that
You
is
can make it do anything.
Skyrim
That's
is
not
your
my game
runner.
of the year.
Oh, Skyrim is
No,
your
that's
runner-up.
my runner-up.
Okay.
My game of the year is this one. Can't you see what I'm holding up? It is Final Fantasy 14 because it is the game that it was so bad at first it got flushed down the toilet, and they turned the whole thing around. And our Sunday night group, this is what we usually play, and it has kept our static group together for over a year and a half. And year and a half later, I'm still working my way up the rank, and it is one of the few games aside where, and it doesn't happen, where I scream at the screen. It's you bastard, you can't do this. And then my friend said, just wait, play the game for a while. What do you mean? I said, oh. So it doesn't, it still surprises me. And the leader of Ul'dah was a person that I'm sure it's not a spoiler at this point. The little person who ran Ul'dah got killed off at one point, and then they brought her back, and I was just furious when she got killed off. So I really enjoyed the story, and I appreciate all the effort that the company did to turn it around. But if Square Enix really does bring NFTs into video games, there's going to be a special place to tell for whoever does it. They're one of the few remaining standouts who said, wow, we think this is a great idea. No, it's not. Everybody will quit playing.
I really hope that they turn around on that, because that is really distressing.
But I love the story on this game. That's why it is my game of the year.
Good pick. Thorsten, what about you?
Well, there could be only one pick for me, and that is one Blade 2 Bannerlord.
Oh, okay.
Good choice. Good choice.
It ticks every box of what I want, really. And,
really?
Yeah. It's for me. It's simply the best game this year.
Oh wow.
Period.
I have not played it yet, but I keep hearing how good it is.
It is really good.
I mean, it has its problems, and still has its problems, but it's in its even with its problems, it's very, very good in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not often that I'll throw 236 hours into a game, but it certainly has gotten that out of me, and I'm enjoying it still.
Oh. I've been meaning to check it out, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But I know it's very popular. Okay, Jacob, you got one?
For top game of the year, well, thanks, Julie, for stealing my thunder.
Well, if Final Fantasy is yours as well, that's fine.
Well, yeah, that's basically what it is. It is easily the game I played the most this year, though I've been kind of holding off on it because I played it for most of the year, and I'm waiting for another expansion to come out, so there's more stuff to do. Besides that, everything Julie said more or less applies. Thank you. Nothing clever to say, sorry.
Does it help if I like the latest editions of it? You know, the last few DLC the best?
I'm looking forward to getting over my burnout of it so I can get back to it. But I am
the latest expansions were easily highlights of the game. Like, no questions asked.
Awesome. And David, to finish this out, do you have a game of 2022?
Okay, so Julia just gave me an idea how we're runner-ups, and I can't deny the amount of hours I spent in this game.
Okay.
This game is also crashing my computer, just like X4. Yet I still persevere. I want to get more hours. Maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know, or maybe I'm masochist. I'm not sure. And that's MechWarrior 5 with mods. Absolutely with mods. Only with mods. If you're playing vanilla, it's gonna be a bad time. It's gonna be a bad time. But with mods, yeah, just like yet another mech club. Oh man. Oh holy crap! It becomes so much better.
I'll have to try it because I tried vanilla and I was like, this is kind of.
Yeah, it's very directionless, if anything. I mean, the campaign is probably there to get a proper experience, like go from A to B, but the main meat is the career mode. So yeah, if you don't like to wander aimlessly around, yeah, it may not be for you, Ryan.
Well, I don't. But mind I love as long as
you can still go in the campaign mode once you reach a certain point. You can travel pretty much anywhere. And as long as you can take on the threats that are in that area, you can survive. But there are ways to cheese it, and I've posted those on the Discord before. Demolition missions, in particular, are easy to cheese in that. And there's a way to use a light mech or a medium mech, go through a demolition mission, take very, very little damage because almost nothing is hitting you, and then get a tremendous amount of profit because the risk is so low.
Yeah, and well, one of the last things that happened 2021 was they added melee combat, only limited to punching though. And trust me, I always love punching robots. I mean, robots that are punching. Who doesn't love some Pacific Rim where we punch the crap out of each other, or yes. Transformer? Yes. So this year we actually got an expansion for that called Arms, which added more melee weapons. So now we can have axes, claymores, katanas, all that fun stuff.
And there's another DLC coming later this year.
Yes. But oh well, that's my runner-up. So I've spoken too much about MechWarrior 5. I like it. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
So my pick for the year is Signalis, easily.
Really? Oh, okay.
So this game, I've tried to write so much here, but I probably should try to shorten it down a little bit. This is survival horror at its top form. Inventory management, enemy management, atmosphere, puzzles, everything just works. I haven't played a game like this in years. It's something special. And something I would like to say is that if you do not feel any emotion at the end of Elster, that main character's journey, you are probably more emotionless than the robots in the game. So it's very soul crushing in the end. I just got to say that. And I really like. Okay, I'm not educated enough to talk about this. I'm sorry. I'll try to do my best here for what I've been writing here. I really like in this game that there are so many strong female characters. I mean, Elster could easily be a male character, and all story beats are the same, but still, there's no BS. Everything just, yeah. I can't say so much more about that. I mean, even the evil Empress is an actual queen in the background that are ruling her people with an iron fist. There's strong female characters in this game. Let's just say that. I love to see it. And it is also using a very interesting cassette punk aesthetic, which I may have seen in Alien Isolation or great science fiction movies from the 80s and 70s. And there's an actual plot reason why all technology looks so low-tech while there are sentient robots roaming about. It's incredibly well written. And I just want to raise a hand for this. Even this game has an actual difficulty slider.
What?
Yes. It's incredible. You have an actual difficulty slide in this game, and you can probably achieve any of the 4 endings in the game. And all endings are, well, let's just say they are equal. So the only few nitpicks I have in the game are very simple, if I would say anything, but maybe I should avoid those nitpicks. To Barbara and Jory from Rose Engine, thank you. Like I've tried to write here, I wish I could have fulfilled my promise, as everything is but a memory now. I'm just gonna end it at that. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh man. Oh, that was a very good list, everyone. There's some surprises there. That was a really good list. So 2022 is a pretty good year, but next week, friends, we're going to talk about what's coming up this year, 2023. There are some games we hope will finally come out of early access, like the aforementioned Star Sector. But 2023 has a lot of games that are potentially coming out this year that look great. So that is what we're going to talk about next week. I want to thank you all for hanging out with us today, as always. And I hope 2023 has started off awesome for you guys. What am I streaming tomorrow? I don't remember what I'm streaming tomorrow. Oh yeah, Epic Astro Story. That looks like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, you're going to have a fun time with that one.
Oh, good. So everyone have a great day. Be safe, be well. Take care of each other. Please get vaccinated if you haven't already. The only way we're going to get out of this pandemic is if enough people get vaccinated. So we all survive. Oh, Mosgrom, of course.
It's been 2 fucking years.
I know. And it's wearing on all of us. We want this pandemic to be over, but we all got to get vaccinated, really, to get through it. So please, everyone, if you haven't, please consider getting vaccinated. Please. And Mosgrom, again, thank you for Taxinaut. We love your game. Love it so much. Can't wait to see more of it. And you're doing a great job with it. Yeah, join the Vax Squad today. That's right. Don't be a quote unquote pureblood or whatever the hell they use. I could anyway.
No, Mike, carry on.
That's what they call themselves. I'm not even kidding. So
we'll laugh at them later. Carry on.
Oh yes. Yep. Oh yes. Have a great day, everyone. Be safe, be well, and we'll